morning and welcome to the Triathlon Dev's YouTube channel. Tomorrow I'm doing the road sprint triathlon, which is from the Elizabeth Woodville School in Northampton. It's halfway between Northampton and Milton Keynes, about 80 miles from me, so it's going to take me about an hour and 20 minutes to get there. I thought I'd do a bit of a run through of the kit that I've got for if there's anybody out there who's not done sprint triathlons before, just to show you what we need for it. My start time is 3 minutes past 8 in the morning. It's about an hour and 20 minutes drive from here, so I want to get there an hour before my race starts because I've never done that race, so I want to be getting there for 7 o'clock. It's about an hour and a half drive, so that's going to be 5:30 that I need to leave from here, so 5 o'clock getting up. What I hadn't realised when I booked this race is that the clocks go forwards tomorrow, so that really means it's going to be 4 o'clock getting up, so it's a pretty early start. Because of that, we're leaving Amelia at Nana's house because she doesn't want to have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. The weather forecast is not fantastic. It has about a 70% chance of rain for tomorrow as well, so I didn't think that she'd want to be getting up at 4 a.m. To go and stand around in a field in the rain for a couple of hours. It's a 400 metre swim. Actually, I think it's about a 414 metre swim or something. It's a bit of a weird length pool. I think it must be like a 23 metre pool or something. It's 18 laps of the pool rather than the normal 16 laps. It's a 20k bike course, which is quite nice because it's actually two 10-kilometre loops, which is quite unusual for sprints. The run is 5 kilometres, and that's also 2 loops as well of 2.5 kilometres. So that makes it quite spectator friendly for Mark, and hopefully be able to get some decent footage. This is the kit that I'm going to be taking with me tomorrow for my sprint race. I like to lay it out the day before in discipline order to make sure that I've got everything that I need. I'm going to be wearing my new Mansfield Tri Club tri-kit, which I've now had a couple of swims in, I've had a bike in, had a run in, so that I know that fits me absolutely spot on. You don't ever want to be trying any equipment out new on race day. The same goes with nutrition and things like that. I do take a hat with me. I don't know why, you always get given a hat by the race organisers. You get different coloured caps for whatever waves you're going in, but I always have a panic that I won't be given one, so I always take a spare one. I like to just take a little sachet of powder with me because quite often in these smaller races the hats have already been used in the waves before you, so there's nothing worse than trying to get a wet hat onto your head, so that just makes it go on a little bit easier. I've got my tried and tested goggles. I've had these for years now. Well, not this pair, but I've been buying them for years. They are Zog's Predator Flex ones. I've got quite a small head, so I do struggle in terms of getting a tight seal with goggles. These ones seem to fit me perfectly, so I've probably had about 15 pairs in the last sort of 7 or 8 years of these, so I always like to wear those. I've also got a spare pair of identical ones just in case you get any problems with them snapping. Also got a bit of anti-fog spray, which I just spray inside the lenses before I get into the pool, just to help with the vision in the pool. In terms of bike gear, so I'm already going to have my tri-suit on. I've got my helmet, I've got 2 pairs of glasses, I've got my normal sunglasses, but because it is forecast to be rainy in the morning, I have also just got a pair of clear glasses. I do wear contact lenses, so I do find that I like to wear glasses of some description just to prevent grit and stuff getting into my eyes. I've also got my number belt as well, which I'm going to get my number tomorrow, so I'm going to pop that onto there. This little hole puncher tool is absolutely perfect for these. You might wonder why I've got one of these here. But if you look on the number belt, they have 2 little sections where you need a hole in your race number, and you tie the little toggles through them. These are absolutely perfect for punching a hole, and then your number fits on nice and easily, and you're not messing around trying to stab a hole in it with a bunch of keys or something like that come race day. I also take a towel with me, not really in terms of drying my feet or anything in transition. This is more in terms of marking my transition. So in races where you've got upwards of 1,000 competitors, it's quite easy to forget whereabouts you've racked your bike, in the transition. So if you've got a brightly coloured towel of some description, you can pop that down to mark your space, and that can work really nicely when you're running into transition. I've got my North Face shoes. These have already got my little trusty leggy bands put on the back, so if you watched my last video in terms of brick session, you'll know that I mount my shoes, looking a bit dirty actually, I mount my shoes onto my bike and I run out of transition barefoot with my shoes already on my bike, so I use the elastic bands just to keep them in place. Then for the run, all I need is literally my trainers. I've got my tri-suit on, I'm going to put my trainers on, I'm going to leave my helmet and everything else in transition. I've got my number belt on, and that just needs to flick around so the number's at the front, and then I'm absolutely ready to go. In terms of other bits that I might have in transition, so as I said, I do wear contact lenses, so I do always have a little bit of contact lens solution just in case I have any problems in the pool. I've got powder, so I stick a load of powder inside my trainers and my cycling shoes, so then that's easy to get them on when I've got wet feet. In terms of nutrition for a sprint race, you don't really need anything much. One gel is all you need. I tend to have a couple just in case I drop one, depending on what time I've eaten in the morning. I might possibly have a gel, 20 minutes before the start of the swim as well, but probably not, to be honest. I do always like to have a couple of bits for emergencies in transition. So I have got just a thin waterproof, and I have got a pair of gloves. Racing in March, it's highly unlikely I'm going to have either of those on, to be honest, but if it's absolutely lashing it down in the morning, I might just stick my waterproof on the bike. I've then also just got a couple of cloths. You never quite know what you're going to need in transition. Your bike chain comes off or something like that, and you need to flip that back on. And then because it's forecast rain, I've also got the trusty plastic bag that I'm probably going to put the trainers inside just to keep them a little bit dry. So that's it really. That's all you need for a sprint triathlon. Quite different to when you're doing open water swimming and standard distance and half Ironman distance, so you quite often think that you've forgotten something, but we are set up and ready to pack up and get ready for the race tomorrow.